everybody, Manucha here, and today I'm going to show you how to make super cute Kraft Purim tags. I'm going to show you some hand lettering tips and how I made these and just walk you through the process. So let's get crafting. So the idea is we're gonna go for a little bit of a rustic, charming hand-drawn look by using Kraft board. This is a very, very thick Kraft cardstock paper. I do recommend going with something thick so it'll be durable and it'll stay. I personally got this one from Cricut a while ago. I don't know if they still have it. If they do, I will link it in the description. Otherwise, I will link a decent alternative to this in the description of this video. To help me along, I have 5M medium Poscas. These can be quite pricey, but they are 100% worth it. You get longer use out of them. You get much better coverage out of them than other, leading brands. We are going to be using the beige and white colors for starters. So those are thicker markers. I also have an additional set of Poscas. These are a little bit thinner. They are 3M. And once again, we're going to be going with the very light colors. I don't know if I also have a beige for this one. I'm definitely going to test these on a scrap before I do it to make sure they're the colors I want. The next set of markers I have here is Ohuhu. Now, these are an excellent budget option if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable. I actually did not intend to take out this set, but I think I will keep this set handy. Also, these are brush markers. They're great if you want to do brush lettering. And once again, we're going to be sticking to the light beige kind of color. These are the Ohuhu paint markers that I had actually intended to take out. The main reason being that they have two size nibs, a very fine one, which is the one that I feel like I'm kind of missing here. Now, I don't see a good beige color, but I do think that this one shows up quite beige on brown, so on darker colors, so I will be testing it. But the reason we're taking this out is for this super fine nib. It is also, once again, a great budget option if you're looking not to spend too much, if you're looking for something that you don't necessarily plan to last for years, but you need it for the next 2 or 3 projects with a group. They are great. They are better than the cheapy ones. I've tried multiple options, and this is definitely a great alternative if you're not affording Poscas right now. And finally, we have good old gel pen. So once again, we're going to go with the white / very light pastel color. We have this big set here that basically covers everything we need. Once again, as with most art supplies, quality matters. If you're looking for a one-time project, you don't have to get the fancy company, but these definitely last a lot better than the cheap gel pens I've gotten on Amazon in the past. And so if you do use these regularly and want them to last you, worth the investment, worth the price, it pays for itself once you're done 3 projects and your old gel pens wouldn't be working anymore. So let's get crafting these tags. Now, I own a Cricut. I own more than one Cricut. I could cut these tags in my Cricut, but I know that not all of you own a Cricut. And since tags are a relatively simple shape to do, I'm simply going to be cutting them on my own. I'm going to show you how to make the basic shape in a few steps, even if you don't have fancy equipment, because why not? And this is like a great workshop project. You could spread it out. You could have younger kids make it. You might want to prepare it in advance if you do. And you even can bulk prepare it without a Cricut. Although if you do have a Cricut, definitely you'll get a cleaner, nicer, more professional touch with it. I'm going to be showing you how to make these. I have a full written out tutorial in the description of this video. So enjoy crafting. To make our gift tags, we are going to start with a paper trimmer. A paper trimmer is relatively inexpensive, a great tool to have in your craft room if you're a regular crafter. However, if you don't have a paper trimmer, it's fine. Use scissors. It won't come out as neat. Or if you have a little bit more patience, you can definitely use a craft knife. Any ordinary craft knife works too. Against a rigid ruler. It doesn't have to be this kind of fancy one. It could be any ruler, any rigid, stiff plastic, metal, or wooden ruler. So you're going to decide on the width of your tag. I don't really care to be exact. I just want a very straight edge. And you're going to go and cut a strip. Now you want the proportions to be roughly like that. You might run into not being able to use your whole thing or slightly not ideal proportions. If you're not measuring it out and planning it beforehand, we're going to make different size tags. And we're going to show you different designs. All right. So we're going to cut these into our ideal proportions. And once again, you can use the ruler to measure. I am not currently using the ruler to measure, just to keep things straight. And you want to cut a rectangle like this. And we're going to keep going. Let's cut this one in half so we could use both evenly. Not a complete half, but that's fine. So there we go. From one 12 by 12 sheet, we got 12 tags. Now, to cut the corners, we are simply going to be using scissors. Now, the main thing is you want the two sides to be symmetrical. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut off one corner and then use that to measure the next. And you can do the same on each tag, or you can just, do the first corner on a tag and use that to measure the other side. But we're going to be using this on every tag. We're just going to be using this one corner and measuring. Now, again, on the narrower tags, we're going to have a smaller header. And this is still good, but if it does get too small, you're going to want to make a new one that isn't too small, but this one is still good. Just a little tip as I do this one, a quick and decisive snip will get you the best straight line, not a slow one. Your instinct may be to go slowly and carefully because you want a nice, neat line, but a quick and decisive, not hurried, but just confident snip will get you a good straight line. You could see our thing is not even, so I should really be careful to make it even, to hold it in the same direction for each one. I haven't been. By flipping it over that way. And now the final step is going to be to punch a hole in these at the top, and then you've prepared 12 tags, blank tags in no time. This really does not take a lot of time. Now, you can't just use a regular 1/4 inch punch. I do find that a small hole, especially if you're going to use something fine, I'm probably going to use cotton twine, which will fit through a small hole. So the small hole does look a little bit classier, and because I can set my distance over here on this tool, I do want to use this one. That way I have consistent reach. Let's just make sure. Try to center it as best as you can. And I'm making these small holes. I may decide to grow them after, and that's fine. Since I'm crafting these for myself, it's less irreversible. If you're doing this as prep for other people to craft, you may want to just go with the big holes because it's a little bit safer. This is in a 1/16 inch hole. This is a 1/4 inch hole, which is a standard hole punch. You can also use heart hole punches or other fun shapes. And now we are ready to get designing these. So I did mention that I want to use light colors. I will actually also use some dark colors. I'll use paint markers. You can use a black Sharpie. That'll also look cute. But I find that the coverage isn't as good, so I will use paint markers. Once again, this is very versatile. It's really just a, basic how-to. This is a great craft actually for a lettering workshop. And I'm going to show you some, mini lettering tutorials as I do this. And I will pull out some more of my markers that I maybe didn't share in the intro that I'm going to use here. All right, so I've prepared my markers and I've sort of tested which colors work best, and this is what I have. I do like how these show up best on this paper, and they come in a nice affordable big pack. So if you're getting this as special for the project, I recommend these. I'll drop a link in the description, of course. And we're going to start with a little bit of brush lettering. So the key trick for brush lettering is you want to make your downstrokes wide and your upstrokes narrow. So we're going to just write now we're starting with the lettering. And you can, of course, first pencil this in if you're not so confident with it, or if you're semi-confident, you could pencil in lines or general placement. You can see I ran out of space. So we started with the lettering, And now we're going to build the design around it. And we're going to start with a border. And that's really going to be my main strategy for decorating these, is to sort of think of this as a rectangle and create different borders. And you can see that's really cute. That's just a very simple, basic tag. No fancy design. And it came out so cute, and you could do this for everyone. And you can add, you know, with the gel pen, let's write from the Cedars. And then it's a functional gift tag with a little bit of small detail on it. Now let's try a black one. And this time we're going to build it out differently. We're going to use a gel pen. We're going to make a bit of a more complicated border around the edge. And again, I'm not really working carefully. I guess, you know, under pressure while I film, it's not always so easy for me. But in a way, that's to your advantage, because you can see that you don't need to do such precise work. You don't have to have a ton of skill. You can really just make these basic doodles, use my designs as inspiration. And I decided I'm going to go around the whole edge because I don't love how this looks. And here we're going around the whole edge of the tag instead of looking at it like a rectangle. All right, now we're going to take this space and draw a cute little mask there. Just a simple doodle. And now we're going to do nothing fancy. We're going to use a Posca, a wide one, and we're just going to write in block letters. Actually, we'll do skinny letters. And we're going to do our horizontals high up. The consistency is key to making this kind of letter. That way it looks a little bit more like a font. And we're making tall, skinny with high crustings. Happy. Now, you could do a simple U, or you could do that kind of U. The reason I did that kind is because I see I might need to make it align better. I might need it a bit wider. And I forgot the exclamation point. And you can see how cute is that. It's not perfectly centered, but it looks really cute. And again, you can add little details. You can add in white. And we're just going to write in a simple script from the Cedars. All right, now let's try one of the colors. Actually, that was a color, and I mixed and matched. So let's go with this yellow, and once again, we're going to have some fun decorating it. And again, it doesn't have to be a fancy design. If you're doing this with a larger group, I do recommend you can find pattern pages and ideas online. You can print that. I do recommend testing your whole pack of markers and see which ones show up well with decent contrast. You will want to be able to offer more options without having to buy so many packs of markers. So unless you're planning on buying single packs, if you do buy single packs, I recommend black and white. You can just test what you have in a big pack. And how cute is that? I love it. And we're just going to do a simple The trick to this font is you're not stretching the letters, you're stretching in between the letters. And we're going to do a cute little design over there. And it's simple and it works. You can use brush markers to make skinny strokes. You just have to be much more controlled. And we're out of space. You may need to discard a few, but I'm just going to go with this, even though it's going to be a little squished in. And now we're going to, I'm actually doing the opposite of how you're supposed to do it. Here you're supposed to do like that. All right. Now we're going to add some polka dots. Always prime your markers on a different surface, otherwise you run the risk of ruining . All right, I think we're gonna do just one more, and we're gonna do it in black, just to show another black one. And there we go. And just to spice things up a tiny bit, we're going to add some white highlights. Now, I ended up finding this twine among my craft supplies that I had to use for obvious reasons. So I made the holes bigger. I did make them 1/4 inch in the end. My favorite way to do this is to put both ends through and then just make sure this isn't twisted. Loop it through, and there you go. You have a perfect little Purim or any occasion gift tag. And just like that, our craft board gift tags are complete. They came out so cute. I definitely think the yellow is less of a win unless you have a match for yellow. However, the pale orange and the pale beige looked really good. The white looks good. The black looks good. The black with white could be done better, but it also looks good. This is really a bit of a fail-proof product. It looks so cute just to have this combination of the light colors on the craft board. I hope you enjoy. Once again, you can find a link to all of these supplies, all of the markers that I used in the description of this video, as well as a written tutorial for those of you who prefer to read and to be able to refer back without having to search through a video. If you enjoyed, hit the like button on this video so that more people can see it and so that YouTube knows to feed you more like this. Subscribe to my channel for more fun tutorials like this one and doable crafts that are affordable and that anyone can do and that are practical and useful and functional.